Welcome to another episode of Explore. JR back here once again with Chris Whetzel from Weimer Automotive. Chris, how's it going?
It's going good. Hang on, before we get going, I feel like I have to do this.
There you go.
Coming off the backyard brawl.
Backyard brawl
Yeah,
victors.
I feel like I got to wear my Mountaineer hat today, just still riding that high. And we'll ride that one for the rest of the year. For the rest of the year. My son and I were at the game, and I told him, I said, this is the game of the year. Enjoy it, man. We'll take it while we got it.
Now, the shocking thing that I saw that shocked me, and I think I have the stat right, the West Virginia, they haven't been playing particularly well.
Right.
But the West Virginia quarterback is 6th in the nation for QB rating or something.
I saw that.
And I was like,
yeah.
Then is it their defense? Like what? Because it was a low-scoring game.
Low-scoring game, and, when the backup came in, we're 5 plays in with the regular quarterback, and my blood run cold. I was like, oh, no, this is not good. But, hey, stepped up, did an amazing job, that's for sure. So,
yeah.
So I thought some of our local viewers would get a kick out of the
yeah.
Mountaineer hat today.
So another thing that I have to bring up is that gorgeous vehicle out in the lobby. Is that a Mustang, like SUV type?
It's the one on your right as you came in?
Yes.
Because I just posted pictures today. So if you go to Weimer Ford on our Facebook page, our new cover photo is what you saw when you came through the door. And then I have a highlight post below. So that is the Mach-E. That is the all-electric Mach-E.
Okay.
To the left is a gas Mustang.
Okay.
And I wanted to put them both in the showroom because they're both identical collars. And it's just one's electric, one's gas. It's like old, new.
Yeah.
It's just a nice contrast setting there.
So they're not calling it a Mustang, they're calling it a Mach-E.
Well, it's a Mustang Mach-E.
Oh, like Mustang Mach-E.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mustang Mach-E. This is an all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 in blistering like 4.2 seconds or something. Unbelievable. The torque on these cars. And we were just having a conversation with a customer this morning. He came in, he was talking about the old Mustangs and things like that, and he was like, oh man, I bet that one would run really fast. And what people don't realize is the torque is so great on these electric cars that across our parking lot, that gas-powered Mustang wouldn't have a chance. And that's a 5.0, it's 480 horse. It wouldn't have a chance against that electric car across the parking lot. The torque is just instant. There's no fuel to run through any systems, and you don't have to worry about spark. It's instantaneous power. It's like driving, if anyone's ever driven an electric golf cart, as soon as you touch it, you're going.
Yeah.
And you take that and magnify it by this huge, series of batteries they have. So I thought it would be neat to set up the electric one and then the gas one there side by side there in the showroom. So you go to our Facebook page and you'll be able to see a picture of what you just
It's
described.
a nice looking vehicle.
Nice looking
I liked
vehicle.
it. I liked the body style on it. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's sharp.
Truly is. We sold one locally. I won't, say names, but we sold one locally. This person commutes to Winchester to the workplace. At their parking garage, they pay $30-$40 a month to park, and that parking includes charging. And so basically for a whole month, that's the fuel bill, $40, because they charge at work, come back, and drive back and forth. So I know there's a lot of kinks, and I know there's a lot of things we haven't worked out EV-wise, and I get that. And I know locally we still have major challenges in charging, and I think that's what really holds us back locally, is we don't have all the public charging stations that they do in more of an urban environment. But honestly, my thinking's really evolved on EV as far as there's definitely a place for it. I'll probably get some stones thrown at, some bad emails sent my way. No, I don't think it's the end answer, and I don't think we're ready to go all electric. I definitely don't think that, but I do believe for certain applications, certain commuters, there is a place for it. We had a demo that we couldn't sell. I think we had to hold it 6 months to show people when they first came out. I drove it for 2 weeks, and very delightful. A lot of power, plenty of power, and charged when I got here to work, and only had to charge it every 2 to 3 days driving from Petersburg to back. And it has you have recovery. You can recover your charge. It has a one-pedal drive system where you really don't need to touch your brake unless it's an emergency. When you let off what I would call the gas, traditionally, when you let off the accelerator, then a resistance motor takes over, kicks in, and holds you back. You can literally let off the accelerator, and it'll just bring you to a nice, even stop. And as it's doing that, it's recouping energy. So when I would come off the backside of 48 here at Patterson Creek, and you coast off the back, it's recouping energy the whole time. One of our Lightnings that I drove it to Petersburg and back, never used 1 mile of energy, because every time I let off the accelerator, the resistance motor would catch and recoup that energy, and never use 1 mile. So if you drive them correctly and all that, you can really extend battery life. But certainly a long way to go. I will concede that. Long way to go, and I'm not sure, locally that we're all ready, but there's going to be a place, and like it or not, I think, in the future, we're probably looking at some sort of that being predominant. So at any rate, I'm still a gas.
Yeah.
I'm still a gas guy. I mean,
I have mixed emotions about it. To me, around here, I don't think our electrical grid is in any worrisome, not like Texas or California. Right. We don't have rolling blackouts.
Right.
If we could get further, it's still kind of like when you're listening and you have to charge it for 4 hours before you can go. If you were on a long trip, but if you were driving it to work and back locally, I think it would probably save you a lot of money.
It really would. It really would. Especially if you had a charger at your workstation, and we are seeing more companies begin to do that. They're beginning to put in chargers for their employees, and I'm sure we're in a smaller area, but that'll catch up here eventually. And
I know we have a charging area at our campground for people that come with electric vehicles, because they're mostly coming from the city, and
that is nice to know. Yeah. Okay. Good deal.
So, we help the campers out on that. But
absolutely.
Yeah, speaking of campers, high end.
Repping Jayco today. Yep. It's a little chilly out there in the showroom, so I put on my Jayco pullover today. We have, I think since the last time we talked, we have moved somewhere around 17, 18 units, Jayco campers. So really good for us. They're starting to take off. We've made unbelievable deals. I know that there's a really large camper area dealership, won't say the name, but a lot of locals have went there and dealt, and we have just said, listen, you live local, give us a shot. If we can't beat the deal, we understand, because at the end of the day, I want my customers to have the best deal, that's for sure. And I want the best deal when it comes to the things I buy. And so we've tried to get that message out. Before you go, at least give us a shot, because we're selling the same thing. We offer the same thing. So, and we've had people come, and we have beat the prices, and people are starting to realize, wait a minute, they will work with us here, and they will make a deal. So we just traded in, believe it or not, a school bus and a pop-up camper on a new Jayco. So we'll take trades. I mean, I'm not sure if you bring something down here on the hoof like a horse or a cow. I would probably entertain it, though. I would just call the stockyards and see how much it's bringing market price. But really, we will work with you. And the thing that I've always said, I do a radio show twice a week with the local station here, WLD, and I've always said, I want people to buy local. That I like to see people spend their money local. I do that to the best of my ability, but not just because, hey, that's the local, let me go there. I want you to come here because we're going to give you the best buying experience, and we're going to work with you, and we're really going to take the time to do everything in our, power to make you a really good deal on a vehicle. So give us a shot. That's all. That's what I tell my friends and family and my local. And if we get beat, we get beat. Sometimes you tip your hat to the better deal. And I'm enough of a business guy that I will tip my hat to a better deal and congratulate you that you found a good deal. But at least give us a shot. We'd love a shot to earn some business. And if maybe you're a customer and, we've had a lot of management changes over the last couple years. And I know in business it's impossible. You're a business guy, you have multiple businesses, and it's impossible to please every single person. And there's going to be things that sometimes go bad and things you didn't mean to go bad that will, and people, take it different ways. So, I wanted to say too, if you've, maybe you didn't have such a good experience. Maybe you were here 3, 4, 5 years ago. Didn't have a good experience. Something happened, whatever it was, whoever's fault it was. I'd like a chance to earn your business. I've been manager here at Weimer Ford almost 2 years now. Before that, I was, on sales staff. So I would love a shot to earn business back, especially if you're a local person. We'd love a shot to earn your business back, and give us a shot. That's all. That's what I like to say. Just give us a shot at it.
So if you're in line for a gorgeous, do they call them RVs more, or do they still? I mean, camper seems old-fashioned.
It does, but that seems to be what people say when they call or they inquire on the internet or whatever. For me, I just go back to National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That there is an RV, Clark. Yeah. I can't get away from the RV, So, the RV is probably where I'm at. But a lot of people do say campers. But however you say it, at the end of the day, we'll make sure you leave here with a good taste in your mouth.
So, of the ones that you've sold, is there like a model that kind of went the most or stood out the most?
My personal favorite on the lot right now is there is a toy hauler, and that's the official name. That's literally what Jayco calls it, a toy hauler. In the front, you have living, you have full shower like you would in a home, full size bathtub, shower. The restroom's amazing. I mean, there's a lot of space. They've come a long way on that. Fireplace in the front, big TV that comes up. I mean, king size bed, things like that. But as you get about 3/4 way back, that turns into like a garage. So you open the door, you come into the next area, and the whole, what we would call a tailgate, anybody, that's what I call a tailgate, the whole thing lays down. You can drive a side-by-side. You can drive motorcycles, ATVs into the back, and have lockdown areas where you can strap them down into the floor. But even that, what I would call the garage area, still has a restroom there.
Oh, wow.
So you have another one there, and they have seats that fold down from the wall. So if you don't have anything, you want to do like a picnic or whatever, you want to gather there with friends and let the end gate down, you could do that. So that's one of my favorite. But it seems like a lot of the locals that we've sold have been more the style where you can pull behind a 3/4 ton truck or a 1/2 ton truck, ones that we're going to put along the river. Because, that's a big deal right here.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of campers along this river. And so they'll come and get those. We've sold several of the fifth wheel packages for those people that take their RVs and go cross country or go. A lot of people that are into racing and things now will go set up. My goodness, in Morgantown this weekend, I don't know how many campers were set up there in RVs. So, but it's been a mix. I can't really say that one's really outsold the other, but we've sold a pretty good mix of those. And some of those North Points, full appliances, 6-burner stove in one of them, 60-inch TV, fireplace, king-size bed, lofts for the kids to crawl up in and sleep. Like I said, the refrigerator is one like you would have in your home. It's a double door with the bottom pull out. Barn sliding doors for pantries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's amazing what they've done with these. And Jayco, I mean, I'll put Jayco up against any RV out there. It really is that good. Great quality. They're well built. We all had to be master certified on them, so they're well built. Great RVs. I mean, that's for sure.
So, unfortunately, we've got a little bit of turmoil going on in the world of vehicles again. As if COVID wasn't bad enough. Now we got a labor strike happening.
We do, and I was hoping after COVID we wouldn't have to have one of these conversations. Because I remember you and I sitting here in the same room talking about inventory crisis, talking about the COVID situation, the lockdowns, and all what it meant for the auto business. But unfortunately, like you said, the UAW, the United Auto Workers, for months with the big three, Stellantis is what used to be Chrysler is now called Stellantis. GM products, GMCs, your Chevrolets and all that. And then Ford, they've been in talks all this time. And then last Thursday, it just broke down. No deal was made. Several deals was put on the table. I know we all gathered and watched a basically kind of a WebEx thing, a web call from the president of Ford. We all had to sit down with the core management and watch it. And 5 different deals was put on the table. The last one was pretty much historic from what I'm hearing as far as what they offered. Everything was rejected. And so now UAW is on strike. So as we saw in periods of COVID, and I don't think, JR, I don't think people realize the demand for vehicles. I buy a vehicle after the wheels fall off mine. I mean, that's just kind of how I am. I'm not an every 2-year buyer. Thankfully, there are people that are. It helps pay my light bill. But I'm the kind of guy, I'll get a truck and just run it forever until the wheels fall off of it. And but if you're like me, you probably have no concept of the demand for vehicles that is out there. And it doesn't take very long. We saw this during COVID. It doesn't take very long of a shutdown. Then all of a sudden demand exceeds supply.
Yeah.
And I think the message we want to get out for Weimer Automotive Group is, we saw it during COVID. This is still fresh on everyone's mind. We should have no problem believing this right now. When demand exceeds supply, prices are going to go through the roof. And that's nothing we can control here. And if this strike goes into that 2-week, 3-week period, that's it. Demand has exceeded supply. That's how much demand there is for vehicles in the United States. And to add insult to injury for us and every single auto dealer is, we all began to look at, when the talk started happening, will they strike, will they not strike? The first thing I did is I went in and looked at all the vehicles that had been built for me, from the Michigan plants, from the Kentucky plants, wherever. And Ford gives me what's called a produced and in-transit list. So I looked at that list and I had like 40 vehicles. Okay, so I have 40 vehicles, brand new ones that have been produced. We own them. They're ours. They're official property of Weimer Automotive Group. We're just waiting on a carrier to get them to us. So we know we have those coming. Okay, so good. So my store had, that many. Chevrolet had 30, some Dodge had 40 or maybe even more. So we're like, okay, there's 100-some vehicles we know we have coming. Okay, so let's not panic. So then the Teamsters, who basically handles all the carriers in the United States, car carriers, announced that they would not cross picket lines and they would back UAW, which means they're not going to drive in and through a picket line to the facilities to pick up the vehicles to bring them to us. Now, this is not something where I can just say, hey, I'm going to jump in a car and go get that vehicle because we own it. You have to have permission from the manufacturers. And as of right now, that's kind of all shut down. So that's where the sense of urgency has really climbed for me as a manager here with Ford, is knowing, and even we had one of the carriers pull in, and I won't mention the carrier group either, but he pulls in yesterday and the driver gets out and says, this is the last one from us, guys. It was like they told us to load this load today and get it out of here while we can, and that would be it. So until this strike's resolved, I think we're going to see some really hard times as far as getting those vehicles to us. Now, again, this is not some kind of ploy. This is not some kind of, this is, if you remember COVID at all, and you remember when the lots were empty, this is, it's a reality that can happen if this strike goes into a 2 or 3 week period.
Which also caused the used vehicle market to go wacky too.
Go crazy. And so what we want to say, I think the message I want to get out on behalf of, Weimer here in Moorfield, is that, you're not going to see any silly games with us. There are dealers already, and I was just looking at them this morning. I keep a pretty sharp eye on my competitors. I want to know what they're doing. And I've already seen market adjustments. They're already starting to price them up again. So the message we want to get out is no market adjustments here. This is not something that we're anticipating doing or anything like that. In fact, one of the things that we talked about before we came on today was I have a whole series of F-150s out here. I have 7 F-150s that I have. The minimum is like $4,500 off, and I have one that's closer to $7,000 off. So nice. we have slashed prices on our F-150s to move and to sell the cars at a great deal. And our prices, you can check them. They are what they are. You can check them today and check them next week. That's where they are. We've priced them according to market, and this is not something we're going to jump out ahead, as there are some other dealers doing that right now. We're not going to jump ahead and say, oh my goodness, the sky's falling, let's just up these prices. But we're going to hold steady. We're going to have every bit of faith we can that a deal's going to be worked out. Money's going to change hands between whoever.
I heard
So-
some of their demands, and it would be
I
good.
tell
It would
you.
be a good time to be one of those workers.
Yeah, I could probably buy into that 4-day work week. You know?
Man, and what they wanted to be paid, and it was,
Yeah.
because I knew about it before I came in, so I could.
Right.
It's legit. I mean, I don't know if people follow the news or not, but I followed that, and I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna be pretty.
Yeah, I've read. I don't know how official it was, but I did read a list of the demands, and well, I mean, good for them, I guess, if they can get it. But my God, I can just see me asking my owner right now, hey, can I get that 4-day work week and get paid 40% more and all that? So, and again, I don't want to be I don't want this to be a lightning rod and controversy, no matter what side. I mean, there's a place for unions certainly and all.
Oh, I was in a union for 8 years.
Certainly.
It's nice when you're in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And my family, I have a large part of my family come out of the southern coal fields of West Virginia, and saw the importance of it there as well. So, not knocking that either way. I just, our message is, and this is, for us, I don't want this to be taken like, oh, it's a ploy to get people to buy cars. Because if we do sell our inventory,
Yeah, you don't know when you're getting it.
I don't know what I'm getting anymore. But for our local citizens or community, I do want to, and I don't want to be like the sky's falling kind of thing, but I do want to at least caution that if you are thinking you're in the market, and maybe you were thinking I'm not going to be in the market till spring, you may really want to look at buying. You may want to look at buying right now. Prices are, like I said, here at Weimer Automotive Group, we have slashed all of our prices. You can go on the internet, there's internet discounts still, and there's still some rebates being offered by manufacturers. Now, one of the things we saw during COVID is they pulled all the rebates. When a manufacturer offers rebates, it's to move supply. There was no supply to move, so there was no rebates to be found. Right now, there are still rebates. There are some rebates that we're seeing with Ford. Chrysler has some of the best rebates, and Chevrolet's still offering some. The strike goes on, supply dwindles to nothing, the rebates will go away, in my experience. I do believe that. So if you are entertaining the thought of buying, whether it's a used, pre-owned or new, you may want to up your time frame and, come in and talk to us about how that may fit your budget. We have several different programs. We have several different plans. We work with around 16 to 18 lenders.
Yeah, where are we at interest-wise now?
Interest-wise, obviously, and there again, it's like the perfect storm again. Interest rates are up. If there's anybody, and it's not just up with cars, because I took a pretty good chewing here the other day over interest rates from a guy that hadn't bought a car in probably 8 years. And when he bought cars, the standard rate was about 2.9%. I mean, goodness gracious, just go ask anybody in real estate right now where it's at.
Yeah.
Go ask any of the local banks where their interest rates are. Interest rates have climbed. I mean, obviously the Feds, I don't know how many, I lost count. I've lost count of how many times we've raised it in the last year and a half, 2 years. But I will say that, the average rate among lenders right now for automobiles is somewhere around that 6.9 area. A year ago, that was about 2.9, 3.9. So we are seeing that go. I'm not sure the Feds have any interest at all right now. I'm not that big business guy where I can anticipate a lot of that. But from where I stand, I don't see the Feds have much interest right now on lowering anything significantly.
No, from what I'm seeing, it actually needs to continue to go up, unfortunately.
To get up to massive inflation.
My very small economics knowledge, because that was my major when I went to college, was economics. Whatever your inflation rate is, that's what you're supposed to match it with the interest rate. Unfortunately,
Right.
And our inflation rate's not real pretty. So.
It's not, and so
It's a fact of life, though.
It is, and believe me, we're going to give you the best rate the banks offer. That's for sure. And because we turn out so many loans for autos every single month here from this campus, as you can imagine, there's a lot of lenders that want to do business with us. So we really have a great chance to get you a good rate. And we're going to give you the rate. We don't determine the rate. I wish I could, but we don't. Our finance department does not determine the rate. This rate comes from the bank. It's based on your credit history, some things like that.
And you said you had 17?
Around 17
different to pull
and
from.
that may be more now because we have more lenders that are working the RVs and things. But we work with, some really large lenders, and, it'll be based on your credit profile, credit history, and all that. about what rate they'll extend to you. But we have different programs. Maybe you'll need to take your term out a little bit longer, help keep your payment down. All of our lenders, there's no penalty if you pay off early. So, you can put a little bit extra money to it, but give yourself that cushion. But the best thing to do if you are thinking about buying, but you're a little bit unsure about interest rates and things like that, I have two of the greatest finance managers here. They would love to sit down and speak with you. You don't have to come in and test drive a car or anything like that. You can come in and say, hey, I want to talk to your, we call them F&I, finance and insurance. They do all the title work and all that. I want to talk to your finance manager. I want to see where, come in, have a discussion. Nothing to hide here. It's all in the light of day, very transparent. We'll show you the rate sheets of the banks. We'll show you where they're at, and and work with you on that. But again, there is a sense of urgency, I believe, that we need to be talking about, because I don't want, and sorry for my phone, I forgot to mute it again.
Sorry.
But I don't want to, again, get to where, hey, the sky's falling, but I don't want anybody to see me in Walmart 6 months from now like, hey, I wish you'd have told me, price is getting ready to gouge. So here's a good way for us to get the message out. If this strike continues, there is no way to avoid it. It's supply and demand. It's our whole economy, supply and demand. It's Dion's sunglasses. I mean, you tell me they're not going to take a hike.
Oh, you didn't hear?
I heard the number.
$1.2 million that one day that he gave them out.
I mean, it's everything though. When's the last time that you was able to go grocery shopping and bring a cartload of groceries out for under $200? I mean, I remember the day when you could pile grocery shop, a cart full and spend $100 and just thought you was king of the world. You spent $100 on groceries, you didn't have to grocery shop for a month. My son and I, we handily throw down $300 or $400 of groceries a month. I mean, it's everything. It's everything. And I feel like sometimes when people haven't bought, people like me who don't buy cars every 2 years, if the last car you purchased was 4 years ago, there's going to be some sticker shock. That's for sure. And we don't determine the prices. I think people think dealerships determine the prices. We don't determine the prices on new cars. That's given to us by Ford. That's given to us by GM. GM says, here's the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Then they give us an invoice price. And whether people believe it or not, there's not much room. And I've never been shy about it. I'll show you exactly what we paid the manufacturer and exactly what they suggest we sell it at. And that's where on these F-150s, just to move the inventory, I'm literally below what we paid for it. So, I'm counting on some goodwill. Hopefully people will come back and service with us, hopefully by giving the discounts we're giving. And these are not Ford discounts. It's a Weimer discount. The F-150s right now have no incentives on them that I'm selling. This is a Weimer discount. And upwards, like I said, one's almost $7,000. The lowest is around $4,000. So it's a good time to grab an F-150. And again, we want to promote some goodwill among our community, among some folks. And like I said, hopefully that comes back to us in the form of, service, oil changes, things like that. So, but again, UAW, I guess we're going a week long now. Haven't seen an end in sight or anything like that. And Teamsters have also said they're not crossing picket lines, so they will not deliver vehicles. So that's where we're at right now.
And they can go on for a while. And
they can.
This might be one that people don't hear about as much, but the writers' strike in Hollywood.
Right.
It's been going on for a while now.
Yeah, that's right. And, unions, you're pretty powerful, have a lot of money built up. So, it could go on for a while. And good news is, because if you don't focus on the positive, the negative will swallow you up. I have said that for 20-some years now. If you don't focus on the positive, the negative will swallow you up. The good news is we do have 12 acres of vehicles out here. We have a great selection of pre-owned. We are purchasing cars every day. We are trading in cars every day. On a day like this, I think we'll trade in 3 or 4 today. So we have 6 dealerships to pull inventory from. We have our Morgantown dealership. We have one in Cumberland. We have one in Kaiser, and we have the 3 represented here.
So if they go online and they see a vehicle in Morgantown, they can get that and have it
absolutely
come here.
I do it every week. Every week we have drivers that we employ. Every week I send drivers to Morgantown or to Cumberland or to Kaiser to grab a vehicle to bring up here for someone to test drive, to take a look at. It's one of the great things I love about the Weimer family is they really give our sales staff the greatest chance to sell a vehicle, and to make a living, because you have 6 dealerships to pull from. So if you see something online that is not marked that it's here and you don't want to make the drive to Cumberland or Morgantown or Kaiser, call us up. We'll get that vehicle brought up here for you. And, you can test drive it, see if it's what you thought it would be and all that good stuff, and we can go from there. So the good news is we do have inventory on the ground. We do have a couple loads that I noticed today are still inbound. Have some Broncos and things like that coming. We have a neat system called VinView that literally we can track them going down the road. The other day I saw the driver on GPS. You could see him coming through Kaiser, and I told my guys, hey, get ready, 45 minutes. We're going to have a load of cars, and sure enough, right there they are. So we're tracking some loads that are presently on the road right now. And so we're thankful for that, and we do have a good selection still on the lot. So again, if anyone out there, that's listening is in the market for a vehicle, or maybe we're thinking about it, you may want to move your timeline up. You really may want to consider, hey, coming in, talking to us about a strategy, and let us just help you out here, because I can't stress enough, if this strike goes on, it's definitely going to be back to inventory problems. So.
Well, it sounds like there's no better time than the present then to get
absolutely.
down here and start looking at vehicles, especially the F-150s.
Yeah, absolutely.
And while you're in here, come look at that Mustang,
electric
Mustang.
I love the show because, again, there's a lot of push against EV. I get that. I push myself, and I still have some pushing on it. I get that. But I love showing EV vehicles to people. I sold an F-150 Lightning to a gentleman, a businessman in Wardensville, and just seeing his eyes light up the first time we took a ride in it, it's unbelievable. The ride is so comfortable. You don't have any engine noise, and it's just the front. You can throw golf clubs in the front. I was driving our demo. I went to Walmart to pick up groceries, the online grocery thing, and the guy come out, and he was going to the back, and I pointed, I said, no, front, and I popped from inside or remotely, you can pop the frunk, and the hood comes up, and the guy kind of looks at me like, okay.
Yeah.
And
you don't know your vehicles real well.
I get out, and we meet together at the front, and he just kind of looks like, what in the heck are you driving? And we put all the groceries in the front where the engine would be. So, there's just a lot of neat things about them, and there are places for them. And, it's good to be educated about as many things as you can. So if you're trying to decide, hey, what about this EV thing? You don't have to buy a thing. Come down and talk to me. I'd be glad to show you EVs. I'd be glad to show you our electric cars and show you how they work and things like that, regardless of whether you intend to buy one or not. Education goes a long way with folks, and at least come down and see how they're made. The warranties, Ford warranties those batteries for 100,000 miles. That's a big warranty. So I know that's a lot of concern with people, but yeah, come on down. I'd love to talk. And I always say I'm from South Fork. And I come from the Kreitz family. We talk a lot anyway. So I've always had the gift of gab, and come down and have a cup of coffee with me, and we can sit down and talk about anything. If you want to talk about fishing, we'll talk about fishing. If you want to look at a car, we'll do that too. So we just want to be here for the community and do our best by the community, because we really are an established part of the community, and we give to all the local organizations, that we just did. We're sponsoring the tailgate party for MHS up here. We're the sole sponsor of it, and we support the Little League teams and things like that, and church groups and different things like that. So we're in the community. We want to be an integral part of the community, and we want to be here to help the community. And so nothing else. You just want to know how everything works, come on down, and we can talk about it.
I think a great way to support the everyone's favorite local podcaster would be to let me drive that electric Mustang for a month.
Put a wrap around it, you can do a wrap with one of your businesses, Yeah, absolutely. No, I think you'd be well pleased. And actually, when we end this podcast, if you want the keys, you can go take one for a test drive. They'll amaze you, that's for sure.
Don't tempt me.
But I'll tell you this, though. It's hard to beat the vehicle you're driving now that you bought.
No, I love it.
That is a beautiful vehicle.
The only thing is I clipped a deer coming home from a Hampshire County fair.
Oh.
A little fawn.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's time to buy another one?
No. I can't, and listen, I've got to wait, not for parts, but because it's just so backed up. Not until November.
Absolutely.
And it happened back in July.
Yep.
I mean,
I believe that. Yeah.
I was because it was late at night, and I just the whole rest of the way home, I'm like, yeah, it was a little baby. Probably wasn't that bad. Maybe it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well,
I'll fix it up. It'll be as good as new.
Good as new, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we can definitely come look at the F-150s, the Jayco trailers for sure. But when you come here, we have other dealerships as well that are under the Weimer brand that they can take a look at and get a great deal.
Absolutely. You know, we sell all domestic, and then we have our Hyundai store in Morgantown. And then, of course, the trade-ins. You never know what you're going to see on our lot trade-in. I've traded everything from BMWs to Teslas to...
And now a new bus.
And a school bus.
Not a new bus, but a school bus.
Believe it or not, sold that school bus the day later.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
so the school bus not
before
on.
we did, I finally got to drive it around the parking lot.
Oh, my.
I know. It might not be a big dream, but I've always dreamed of driving a school bus at least once. So I drove around the parking lot 5 or 6 times, opened the door, put the stop sign out, had the flashing lights and all. And so, yeah, that was fun for me, that's for sure.
Maybe you'll get your horse. You know, someone will trade in Clydesdale or something. You can.
I'm almost sitting here regretting saying that because we're in an agriculture area. Somebody's going to bring me a cow.
Here's Bessie. What can I get that Mustang for?
If your editing skills are really good, you might want to clip the cow part out. I don't. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Well, everyone, we thank you for tuning in to explore. A lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of great stuff to check out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, thank you for tuning in. Catch you later.
Thank you.